Hello everybody, this is Hunter Black Luna, and welcome to Let's Play Starsector. This is an indie game that is not available on Steam. It's an early access game, and honestly, it has a kind of an old school vibe about it. Now, saying this as someone who didn't play too many old school games, but I'm seeing a lot of similarities with games like Wing Commander Privateer. This is kind of a sandbox, EVE Online sort of... I don't know how to describe it. All I know is I saw this on Beaglerush's live stream like a couple days ago. I bought it real cheap, it's like 15 bucks now, and I have just been playing the hell out of it. I've just fallen completely in love, and I guess the only way to show you guys why is to go for it. And it's still, as the game will tell you, it's an alpha, as a matter of fact. It's very unfinished. As I understand, a lot has been added recently, and more will continue to be added, but we need to bear in mind that it is an early access game. Some people don't like early access, but I'm still a fan. So I'm not going to be using Iron Man mode, because you can run into some pretty bad glitches. We have a large amount... We have a decent number of avatar selection, depending on what we want to do. We can do Space Hobo, or... I think... I don't know. Looking too formal or military isn't really my style, because we're kind of independent. I'll pick the same guy I chose for last time. But this time, I am going to give him a suitably over-the-top sci-fi name. Cypher Rage. Alright. And I actually have a specific start that I've kind of grown comfortable with, and so I'm just going to do that, because I know that I can, do it. We've been making our living as a bounty hunter, which gives us the Wolf-class frigate, which is incredible. You'll see. And recently we've acquired some high-grade weaponry. A heavy blaster is also very nice. And our luck's is about average. And we'll pick our skills manually. The level up system is pretty simple, all things considered. You have combat, leadership, and technology skills. Generally speaking, combat improves your ship, and obviously leadership is about fleets, and technology is kind of a mix, but it gives you more group buffs. And industry, I'm not sure if it does literally anything right now. I'm pretty sure those parts of the game aren't in, so we'll not be putting points in industry. I am going to level leadership and technology, because I found that I appreciate these. The combat bonuses are good, but this game definitely kind of pushes you to get a fleet, and it's actually a lot of fun to do so. This is nice. This basically makes your fleet faster. Yeah, the burn of your fleet is how fast it goes, like on the campaign map, and that's just lovely. Like there's so many things I love. But for right now, more crew experience is lovely, and you'll see why. I think I'll go with a similar setup to the one I've ended up liking. And obviously each of these things confers different benefits. Yeah. Let's do this. It's good enough. It'll serve. And we'll just see how the game goes. Like, really a lot of this is stuff that I would prefer to demonstrate by just doing. Quick save and quick load. That will be useful. This is good advice. This is all of this good advice. Alright, first thing. Pause the game with spacebar. And we are currently in orbit of the planet of Jangala. This is like the starter area. We can bring up a map of the solar system with tab. And this box is our current frame of reference, and this green square is us. See, we're in a solar system. These planets do actually orbit around as the seasons pass. And we have some outlying worlds down there. And like the green square is us, and we'll meet the other people. As a matter of fact, it's time to meet the hegemony, which are the people, they're kind of the starter people. We go in to approach the space station. Feel free to pause and read some of this. Some of the flavor text is already well done, and I really like the setting details. Space stations are kind of where you do all sorts of stuff. And before we get into anything else, we are going to refit our ship. And I've kept the tooltips on because I know most of this, and I'll be dismissing many of these boxes and telling them not to show again. But feel free to pause and read over them. They do a pretty good job of explaining what the hell's up. So this is our ship, the Aerope 2, a Wolf class. That's a fine name. I'll never be able to say it, but whatever. And the ship upgrade system, I'm not quite sure how to describe it, so I will just demonstrate. First off, let's remove everything from the ship. This system may look familiar to other ship upgrade systems. And over time, I've kind of learned what works and what doesn't. And I'm just going to show you the loadout I like. Which is the heavy blaster, which is, as you can imagine, it blasts things. Yeah, imagine that. And the outfitting screen allows you to put on things that you own, or that you can buy from the port, which is a really nice bit of streamlining. So for instance, I actually own tactical lasers, and if I wanted to, I could procure long-range point defense lasers from the black market. And we'll learn about the shop in a second. This is kind of a tutorial to the game because I actually know things about it. I wasn't quite expecting to do a series on it, but like I said, I fell in love, so that's how it goes. Honestly, right at the moment, all I need are the missiles and the blasters. We'll check our weapons groups. The first weapon group will be the heavy blaster at the front. That's our main gun. And then the harpoons are group 2. Whole modifications are really nice. One that I feel is kind of required for my enjoyment. The unstable injector, which just... you get so much speed and so much acceleration. But your engines take 4 times more damage in combat, and obviously, you don't want your engines to fail. My voice is actually kind of failing, which is really inconvenient because I'm trying to do a Let's Play. So if it sounds weird, that's why. Other things I really like to have are hardened subsystems. You can only keep your ship out a certain amount of time before its performance starts to degrade, basically. Hardened subsystems gives you a longer amount of time that you can hang, and reduces the amount that your ship degrades over time. I'm quite a fan. Other aspects, expanded magazines, twice the missiles. I do appreciate that. Although, now that I look at it, that might not even apply to missiles at all. That would explain a lot. Yeah. Well, you learn all sorts of things. Accelerated shields aren't important on a frigate. I do like stabilized shields, though. And the rest we just put on capacitors and vents. Actually, there's a lot of games I could compare this to. But for the combat mechanics, for like the heat generation system, think Mech Warrior. Like your ship generates heat and you need to vent it. It's actually a lot more realistic in that respect than many other space games. It still has a very arcadey style, so I'm going to stop talking for a moment, or at least stop expositing. We're going to hop into the simulation mode where we can face any kind of enemy ship whatsoever. And we're going to face... one enemy frigate will be deployed on the map. You can leap into the simulation at any time, and we're on the battle map. You use WASD to control your ship. Your view actually goes where you point the mouse, which is a little tough to get used to because not many games of this type seem to use that system. It works really well, though. It gives a really organic flow to your user interface. And otherwise, you just point your ship. You can see the aiming arc of the weapons. I have my missiles enabled, and now I have the blaster enabled. The tactical map can be brought up with tab. That's very useful, especially when you start commanding fleets. Until then, a lot of this stuff isn't really too useful. But I do enjoy using this to set a target, which will let us see where they are, and let us see a whole lot about them. Alright, now we're paused. There's the enemy ship. You can see what they have. You can see... I don't tend to actually look at that a lot. But... spacebar pauses and unpauses. Bring up your shields with right click. Shields don't have like one health bar. They just every time you're hit by shields, that increases your heat generation, as we're about to see. Oh, I hate these things. Welcome to Salamander missiles. Oh, by the way, my ship can teleport. Just can. Ow. Didn't help me. The combat system takes a little bit of time getting used to, but our engines got fucked up. But now they're back online. And those unstable injectors mean we really move. I hate those Salamander missiles so much. As you can see, it's basically a duel. And when you take too much heat, your shields over... It's really flux. Your shields... Well, your whole system overloads, and you're just dead in space. And some asshole can just bridle up and do this to you. And then when the wolf gets in trouble, you can always just back off, vent your waste heat with a V. Of course, while you do that, you're completely vulnerable until the venting is complete, which is something to keep in mind. God, I hate Salamander missiles. If you can't tell, this thing is deliberately trying to aim for my engines rather than just to hit me. It's literally worse than 10 Hitlers because it does this to you every fucking time. Which leaves you vulnerable. You can see my shield is only protecting my front arc. The hull is slowly going down as I'm getting hit. This is not a good demonstration of my... Oh my god! Hopefully this is... Oh my... No, that... See, it doesn't actually do much damage to me at all. It's just... The Salamander is directly aiming for my... Look at that. I swear I'm good at this game, guys. Oh my god. Well, we've seen that. Alright, now I have something to prove. Not a mirror matchup, because the wolf is a very frightening opponent to face. Let's just do one of these, which is your standard low power frigate. Okay, something that doesn't have fucking Salamander missiles. Just a standard-ass bulk freighter. Well, this guy doesn't have shields, which is... You can imagine how that goes. Yeah, shields are really fucking important. That'll learn you. Anyhow, when we get into the real combat, things will become more clear, but that's kind of how combat goes. It's arcadey, but it has certain aspects of realism. Ships move in a very understandable fashion. Your brain kind of goes, oh yeah, that's kind of how it would go. Alright, so we're fitted out kind of how I like it, at least for now. The only real vulnerability of this setup, aside from taking on like a battlecruiser head-to-head, which we will not be doing, is we don't have any kind of point defense. We can resolve that eventually, though. Okay, so, other tabs. Here is the market screen. where you buy and sell things, as you can imagine. And there's tons of information being offered to you. At the top we can see the conditions of the market, including the population of the world, and everything about it. This is actually the hegemony's, like, capital world, so they have military bases, orbital stations, which have, like, effects. And we can see that the world is currently offering a bounty for pirates. And that is going to be our ticket. Market stability, well, you can guess what that does. And if not, my hovering over will let you pause. You can have info about supply and demand. Economic game. One of your primary ways you determine your progress is through money. And what you could buy from money. If you hear anything in the background, just pay no mind to it, and don't look behind the curtain. There's actually 3 kinds of markets. There's the open market, where when you buy something, a 30% tariff is assessed against you. Because, you know, government and Space Obama and all that. There's, like, the local military, which will trade with you if they like you. And there's the black market, where you can find all kinds of stuff that you can't on the open market. When you buy things, there's no stupid tariff to the government. I keep all my money. Black market can be dangerous, because when you do business with the black market, it reduces the market stability. You can have a pretty profound effect in fucking up a world if you just dump a lot of black market goods. And the government will know about it, and they... Let me put it this way. Last time, I kind of used the black market, and I ended up regretting it in some ways. So I now have a rule that I'm not going to use the black market, except to buy ships. Because, oh yes, you can buy you some ships. Shuttles, tugs, freighters. And of course the black market, which offers a more interesting array. Fighter wings, carriers. My goal is kind of to get a carrier and some fighters, but that's pretty far off. Get destroyers. And hovering over something gives you all kinds of info. There's so many interacting systems in this game, and there's so much info. And yet, just picking it up and playing it is pretty easy, so explaining it for a long time probably doesn't matter. Alright, so that's the station, everybody. What do I want to do? Yes, thank you. I'm already sick of that. I kinda hate the graviton beams, so I'm just gonna sell it. And I also have no respect for tac lasers whatsoever. So we are gonna commit to our armament choices. Sell it off. We start with just 20 regular crew. And, you know, this is our money. And you need supplies, you know, because you're in space. You need, like, food, repair supplies. Never run out of supplies, ever. We are currently using 0.2 per day, and we have 20. There's so many systems that I haven't even touched on, and I kind of don't want to. I just kind of want to go. Just know that I was under the distinct impression that supplies were cheaper. Maybe that was just my other game. You know, whatever. Notice 10 more supplies. That costs so much money. Wow, was this like this when I started? Whatever. We gotta do what we gotta do. You'll see how we'll make money. We start with just enough to get us going. Trading on the up and up increases your friendliness with a faction, and trading on the black market does the opposite. There's all sorts of news. We don't have to pay much mind to that. Okay, but there's a bunch of factions down here. I'm certain more will be added. For now, the one we need to know about is the hegemony. Feel free to pause and read if you want. Basically, they're a militaristic society. This is kinda, the civilizations are kinda scattered, and there's lots of room for independence to operate, like us. Oh, the other ones you need to know about are the pirates, but we'll meet them shortly. Because when we bring up our map, we can see the hegemony capital right here. There's the star. There's an independent world called Asharu down there that has an abandoned station we can use for storage of, you know, craft and goods. Yeah, gray are independents, which is, well, you know, just random worlds. The orange are the hegemony, and the red, well, those are pirates. So I figure we're gonna cap off all that talking and doing things by heading out of port with what we've got. And let's go. Our ship moves at 8 burn, which is pretty fast. We are, if I had to describe the Wolf frigate, I'd probably call it high speed, low drag. Alright, there's a pirate station here, and we could go say hi and even try to trade with them. Of course, only the black market is here. No, actually, there is a black market for the pirate base. Don't ask questions. Just, I don't know, but we're not going to be doing business with these people. We are going to do other things to them. Speaking of which, ooh, 2 pirate ships against our 1. After my abysmal combat performance, how can I hope to stop them? Well, if they have salamanders, you'll see how it goes. Fortune favors the bold. Let's move in and say hi. We are moving much faster than them. Here's the encounter screen, and we can read more about these. We fought a Cerberus and a Lasher already. That fucker better not have salamanders. I don't think there's any way to tell until we get into the fight. You can try to talk to the pirates, but there isn't really conversation systems implemented at all. Like, you just get a line, and that's about it. So we could run away, but we went to pick this fight after all. So it's 2-on-1. I don't know about this, guys. Wow, they're fast. And they have point defense. But they also have no fucking shields. Which means any old asshole can do this to them. Alright, odds evened. Now we swap targets. And we get ourselves a little distance. Just enough to vent our waste heat. And come on back around. We've used up our supply of missiles. You only get a few each battle. There we go. But our blaster, our heavy weaponry lets us just kind of teach them who's boss. Just make sure to aim. And maneuvering is very important, especially for these smaller ship fights. Capital ship fights are fun, but at first, it's frigate on frigate action. The hottest. Oh, I love this blaster so much. Look at his heat. His flux, rather. It's already maxed. Now, of course, it's maxed for me, too. This is a powerful gun. Actually, we gotta be watchful of that. But don't forget, we can do that whenever we're in trouble. Assuming we're not disabled. And we just wait for the flux to vent, and then we rock and roll. That was a little premature, that first shot. You gotta watch things. There we go. Ooh, that's a good one. We damaged something of theirs. The text is too small for me to make out what exactly it was, but we are... Ooh. Nope, he's back online. Just back it off. Just back it off. Gotta be careful about venting, because as I mentioned... Oh, they're in full retreat. No, 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 my friends. No, no, no. See, I actually took out their engines there, and then I took out all the rest of them. So yeah. Notice the difference. That simulation assumed like a good enemy crew with good supplies, but these are pirates. As a matter of fact, you'll notice the D next to their names. Unlike in real life, you don't want the D, because the D means defective. Their ship had all kinds of debuffs to it. Ours doesn't. So yeah, we got some money, and we get to take their stuff, including those supplies that took so much to buy. Actually, we're already full up on cargo, because they were carrying a lot of stuff. And of course weapons that we'll be wanting to sell, because we're the hero. You use shift click to just kind of stack separate. Actually, we have so many supplies. It's probably not a good idea to have this many supplies so early. I may have just been nervous about it. But anyhow, we win. The pirates aren't happy, but I sure am. There we go. And you can see our relationship with the Independence and the hegemony has improved, and we get 6,000. So for one victory over 2 ships, we've tripled our starting money. And it only gets more fun from there. Although we've also met a really ultra fun bug, where sometimes after a battle you can't bring up the various screens on your menu, which is really crippling since you need to navigate a solar system like this, and if you have to navigate it, well, I hope you paid attention to the map the last time you looked at it. That's, you know, game's in beta. Do I just want more speed? What does this do? This makes it easier for larger craft to navigate. Flux capacity is nice. Honestly, almost all these upgrades are just so super nice that it's really hard to say better or worse at this point. Faster ship repairs, although the real thing you want is reconstruction. At the moment, I'm trying not to agonize too much on this. Piloting is it's so nice to have piloting too at first. So even though I'm gonna stick with this. I'm gonna stick to my guns. Dissipation rate and capacity for every ship in the fleet. 1% is not that significant, but 5 or 10% more overall, that just, it starts to get really good. All these are good, really. I don't know if I'm building optimally. I'm just doing what I can. Cypher Rage. Mrs. Rage, could Cypher come out to play? Alright. Supply consumption has just gone up because we were in a battle. And the thing about that is, our combat readiness has gone down because we were in a battle. Maximum CR is 77%. When you get a better crew, that goes up. And our crew is basically a veteran crew, which gives you all kinds of nice things. But yeah, for right now, we're just going to pull into Jingala again. The hegemony are officially neutral to us, but we're kinda chummy with them. We need 2 supplies to bring the ship back up to full combat readiness. We're gonna do that. And then we're gonna sell what we got and not make much money off it. Especially that heavy machinery. Although we would have made a lot more if not for these damn taxes, which you don't get on the free market. But there's a price for freedom, my friends, trust me. Smuggling, oh, it's so tempting. And you will regret it. These final 2 items. Although what we can also do is sell the veteran crew and purchase 11 green crew, which actually is a decent source of cash income. decent-ish. It's okay. And since we're directly piloting the ship, we're kind of okay. I just paid supplies to increase combat readiness, and now I'm doing this. So ultimately, I probably made precisely no money. But whatever. Training crew is a good way to make a bit of cash. We're going to plot course for the independent world of Asharu now. On our hyperfast ship. You actually see it down there. If you look at the actual icons of fleets, you can actually see what is in there, even if you just look. Kind of, if you squint. But anyhow, we're going to bop out to this independent world. Things are just different on Asharu, you know? And, I kind of trailed off there. Yeah, you can, again, read the stuff there. Things are just different. Commodities are different. We're on the frontier here. Tens of thousands of people live here, though stability is pretty low, which means prices are relatively low and demand is up. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of demand for food, so one thing we could do is purchase food for our cargo hold, then come here and sell the food. Of course, there's demands for things like recreational drugs, which the government, for some reason, doesn't want you, you know, bring. Same as harvested organs, I just don't understand it. Local stockpiles of crew are up, but you can see, if we'd sold this heavy machinery here, we could have got a much better deal. They're also hurting for supplies, which is why there's basically none available on this planet, which is really rough. Like, did I just get a random better start last time? Because supplies were like 30 credits each on Asharu. Or, whatever the hegemony planet we were just at. You can buy all kinds of weapons, and these are not bad weapons. And of course the black market offers what you can't get elsewhere. Not even once. Although it is good to see what they have on sale, including another Wolf frigate, although it's defective. Now the thing is, defective ships are obviously much cheaper, like almost half price, a regular ship. And you might be wondering, well, is that a deal worth it for the price point? No. Like, let's say you purchased a defective destroyer and it had degraded engines. That means even if the combat readiness is high, its engines will just occasionally just not work. And you saw what happened when they kept crippling my engines in that simulated battle. There's almost nothing you can do about that if you don't have backup. So defective ships, not even once. The open market is of course selling, you know, more legitimate things like a Hermes shuttle. Both defective. If they weren't defective, I might think about buying that. Speaking of which, there's actually, as I mentioned before, a station orbiting this planet that we can dock with and use as our own. Like, we can refit here. I seem to have one extra slot for some reason. That's cool. You can refit at a station, and that doesn't reduce your combat readiness. And storage. Like, we can just put ships into storage. And there's also a free shuttle here. You will note it's defective, which means, honestly, I just like to freaking sell it. Because it's so slow. Like, it will double our cargo capacity, but it's so not worth it. It's not even. Yeah, I think I will just sell it, because it will give us almost nothing. But it's better than just letting it sit around, and it reduces our speed from 8. Yes, thank you. to a number that's not 8. Actually, what is the speed given our buffs to it? It says 2. It doesn't act like 2. We could get almost nothing for this shuttle. Here. I'm guessing it's the same elsewhere. Yeah. We could take the Hound and just use it as a cargo ship, but no. I'm not up for that. So you'll notice already... Oh, son of a... High independence. So occasionally patrol fleets from the various factions will approach you and scan your ass for cargo and stuff. And basically just kind of shake you down for money. And if you don't pay, they're pissed, so... we pay the toll, which does make them like us a little bit more, and also means we don't have to fight a horrifying superior force. Yeah, cool story, bro. When you get more friendly with a faction, they do that less. Until then, usually you have to grin and bear it. Even if you avoid them, they consider that a negative because, you know, you're ducking customs inspections. All this red tape. I wish I could just operate off the grid like a man. See, we're going at less than half of our speed. And remember, the longer we take to go places, the more supplies we eat en route, which means the less pirates we eat. And I forgot to put the freaking things in storage there like I said I would. Dang it. Well, you know, we don't make mistakes. We just have happy little accidents. Let's see what the market here is willing to pay for my shuttle. Literally the exact same. Great, bro. Now I'll make an exception to buy ships off the black market, but not to sell them. Selling items on the black market has a greater impact on, you know, overall stability levels. We could sell our old defective shuttle and get a real shuttle that works. Seems like a decent deal to me all around. So yeah, this is kind of the game. I mean, there's much more to it, obviously, but this is the basic... Yeah, this ship is not going to benefit us. We can't slow boat it around. Like I said, the Wolf is high speed, low drag, and that's what we got to do. The Mercury shuttle is 7. It will slow us down a little bit, but it will also give us more cargo capacity, which means we can hang longer, as you can imagine. Actually, wait. The Mercury is like a personnel transport. The Hermes is like a cargo transport. It's real nice. So even though this is a lot of our money, and we really got to be careful about that, I am going to buy a mint condition Hermes shuttle, add it to our fleet. As you can imagine, this thing will not be participating in fights. It'll be held in reserve the entire time. So we want to give it the ability to run away if we should ever need to, and it could happen. Yeah, basically just objects to let it run away, and rear-mounted guns just in case it's ever cornered and it needs to run, basically. Alright. We've accomplished both less than I expected and more. What the hell is with these names? Anti-Macus. Anyway, this is the ISS Anti-Macus now. Since I don't even know if that was a made-up name, I don't care if it's misspelled now. And we'll just call you the... I don't know, the cargo shuttle. You'll be the privateer, because that's what we're doing, basically. And, we've just doubled our cargo capacity. We get a lot of these small ballistic weapons. We could probably just sell it at this point. For 21 bucks. So, make ready our ships, and next time on Let's Play Starsector, we will continue acting against the rampant piracy in the Corvus system, getting in good with the local authorities, and collecting rather lucrative bounty contracts. See you then, guys.